We're off. It's just so exhilarating and good fun. It's fantastic. Hello and welcome to Tim's BMW Repairs and Information. Well, in the last episode I showed you how to put any BMW into launch mode. Yet most people don't know it's there even. It's a special press on the control buttons down here. And of course we did tests to make sure it did make a difference. And we found that at the very minimum it was 0.2 of a second faster off the mark than any other mode. And it was 0.6 of a second quicker than being in standard drive mode off the mark with your foot planted full on the floor and in sports mode. But what I didn't know at the time is actually launch mode is a performance mode. Yep, it isn't just for launching, it changes the characteristics of the car quite considerably. And the first one I noticed was the exhaust sounds different. And the other thing is it's just got so quick acceleration. It's just absolutely insane. Rightio. Second gear corner, this one is into the corner, third gear, second gear, round we go, nice and sharp. Wow, that is quite exciting acceleration. That is quite exhilarating. Wow, third gear even. Yeah, that is very fast. And that is quite different from how it usually feels. So one of the big differences is, as I've said, the exhaust tone. It sounds fantastic. It is so much more noticeable. It isn't too loud, but it's so much more raspy, and you can feel the sort of thunderous power coming from it as well. It is really nice. Now, in Steptronic mode, the usual rule of thumb was, get up to 3000 RPM and then you get some decent acceleration. Well, not in performance mode, don't worry about that. We're at 2500 and wow, oh blimey. Yeah, that's quick, well past 60 already, so we're slow back down again. That is just so impressive, and it's so much fun as well. Just makes the car come alive. It really does, but it can all happen in drive mode rather than sticking it in sports mode or Steptronic. Now in sports mode, it hangs on to the gears and doesn't bother to change gear until you're up at 6,700 RPM. But in drive and performance mode, let's plant the throttle. Wow, we're going. 5,900 RPM and straight into the next gear. Oh, it's fantastic, it really is. Such a better way to drive a car. You've got gear changes that gives you all the performance, but don't shake your valve train to bits. That's what I really love about it. I can just be in drive and performance mode, and all of a sudden, if I feel that I need to go somewhere, we're off. It's just so exhilarating and good fun. It's fantastic. It's such a difference. Now, of course, we're in drive mode now, not in sports mode or anything like that. Hate sports mode. It makes the car too twitchy. It just makes the car feel completely wrong. And if you've learnt the relationship between the throttle and the engine power, then you don't want to relearn it again in sports mode. But in performance mode, and you can't get out of performance mode unless you turn the ignition off and then back on again, it just makes the car so much more tractable. Not only can you do this lightning fast acceleration, so pootling around about 1000 RPM in performance mode and drive, so we're not in sport, we're not in Steptronic, and all of a sudden you can see a gap you want to get into. Off we go. Oh, fantastic. and with none of the valves rattling like you used to get in sports mode. Oh, it's just so much better. Now, I've tried this in this car, 650, and I've tried it in two 1 Series, and it works on 1 Series as well, yeah. Makes them go a bit faster, but of course, a 118 or a 120, even an M Sport doesn't go that fast, but it does make a huge difference to them. Now, the good thing about this mode is you think, oh, it's dangerous now, DTC and ASC plus T isn't working. Well, put my wheel in a sand, there we go, and whoa! Yeah. As soon as we're out of the sand, we start taking off like a rocket ship. It's quiet that way today. Oh, that exhaust sound though. Oh, such a lovely sound. Yep, just in drive mode, so no need to change the sports mode or anything like that. So what's this mode all about? Well, from what I can tell, it's a mode that's used for engineers for testing the performance of a car. And yep, it sort of stops. You have no, hold on, it's got a bicycle in the way. Yeah, it is an A-road made, but of course bicycles, oh blimey. You've got to be careful of that. It does have a tendency to put all the beans on in one go, even if you wanted to feather the throttle a bit. So yeah, once the car's settled down, it just behaves as normal. But after ragging it for a bit, yeah, it gets quite lively. There we go, that's normal acceleration up to 60. Perfect. So what's going on then? Well, in the older BMWs, doing the special Easter egg mode, we proved that it actually helps acceleration. It was there to get you out of snow and muddy conditions, so it allowed a certain amount of wheel spin. And I thought it'd be just the same on modern BMWs. But it isn't. It affects a lot more than just the DTC or the ASC plus T. It's actually affecting the engine performance and the gearbox without compromising DTC and ASC plus T. So the car is still perfectly safe. So yes, it does seem that this performance mode is really just there to for testing purposes. Right, one last run. Right, let's quickly, before we go for one last run, let's see what difference the performance mode makes. Well, first of all, it makes the exhaust sound different, which is very strange. You wouldn't have thought anything would make the exhaust sound different. Now we've got something behind. What is it? I don't know what that is. But what we'll do is we'll just see how quickly he goes. We'll find out how quickly he can go. He can't go as fast as a 6 Series, that's what it is. I do love it. It's a brand new one, a 23 plate, and he got right up behind me as they always seem to do. And yeah, it just couldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. It really couldn't. I think the modern cars are fantastic. They are. They look great. I think he's caught me back up again, but I think it's just to check what badge is on the back of the car. You know, what is it? Was it an M1? No, I just don't know because I couldn't catch up with him. No, it's just a 650, mate. Just a normal one. 13 years old. Ancient old thing it is. But you did get completely thrashed by it, didn't you? There we go. Right, we should be able to put in here before that van. Here we're in. Oh, that exhaust sound. Oh, fantastic. The acceleration. Oh, just absolutely amazing. Cyclists there, thin-skinned. Got to watch them. Wow. Power, power, power. Straight up to 60 with the sound of that thunderous exhaust behind me. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, what we were doing, we were going to see the changes that it made to the car. Yeah, the exhaust sounds different. It sounds radically different. It sounds fantastic. In drive, it'll change not at the red line, but at 5,900 RPM, which is absolutely perfect for me. I hate it being in sports mode, and I hate going over 6,000 RPM. Just isn't good for an old engine, especially one that's done, what, 132,500 miles. Yeah, that's quite far enough for that. So yeah, in drive it will change gear at 5,900, but have all the power available to you. In fact, have more power available to you than in any other mode. Now we're doing left, okay, right, okay, let's go. Oh, can't help saying it. Every time I accelerate from a near standing start, the sound of that exhaust is just so fantastic. Okay, what other added things? So we get faster acceleration, we get a better exhaust tone. Another thing that adds is engine braking. So I've let my foot off the throttle, and yeah, you've got quite a lot of engine braking. But that's what you want in a performance mode. That, of course, is in Steptronic. If you're in drive, then you just don't feel it at all, because the gears will deal with all the engine braking. So yeah, just feels perfectly normal. In Steptronic, it's quite noticeable that when you de-accelerate in third or second gear, yeah, it's quite noticeable. You do de-accelerate a lot faster. Oh, blimey. And the other thing you notice in performance mode is the throttle is a bit livelier. Yeah. So it's a bit like sports mode. If you put it into sports mode, then the throttle's livelier. You don't get any more power. In performance mode, the throttle's livelier and you do get more power, and you still change at 5,900 RPM. You don't try and blow up the engine, which is what it sounds like in sports mode. I really do hate it. And if I get caught somewhere where I suddenly have to accelerate and you go into kickdown mode, which it will do the same as sports mode, which is to wind the revs right up to 6,700, I'll quickly whip it into Steptronic and pull it into the next gear, because I hate the sound of those valves rattling around, and they really do. They rattle around something awful in there. Other changes, yeah, use a lot more petrol. Yeah, I'm now down to 23.7 and I was at 29.2. So it uses a lot of petrol, but there you are accelerating rather fast. Well, what I want you to tell me is, what difference does it make to your BMW? Oh, well, I've got to show you how to put it into performance mode in the first place, don't I? Right. First of all, the only way you can get out of performance mode is to turn the ignition off, and then you're back out of performance mode. The next time you start the car up, you're in performance mode. I won't start the car, I'll put the ignition on because I've been ragging the car for too long. Righty ho, so the ignition is on. And so to get it into performance mode, you use the DTC button. Now, if you press it once, DTC light comes on. You're now in DTC mode, which means you can accelerate in mud and in snow, and it's used for situations where you're stuck. Good to know. DTC off, fantastic for getting out after snow. Right, press the button again and the DTC light goes back out again. Press it for 3 or 4 seconds. DTC light's on. ASC plus T light comes on, so it's the warning triangle with the arrow going round it. That's your danger mode. Don't drive it like this. You haven't got any traction control anymore, haven't got any stability control, and with nearly 400 horsepower, if you lose traction on a bend, you're going to end up in a hedge. So never drive it like that. But what we can do is press the button again, it just goes back to normal mode. This time, hold it for 11 seconds, okay? DTC light is on. ASC plus T light's on, staying on. I'm not let go of the button, I'm still holding it. After a few more seconds, the ASC plus T light goes out, so does the DTC light. Pressing the button doesn't put the DTC light back on again. You're now in performance mode. And watch yourself. Yeah, so I want all the comments to tell me what happens if you do this in your own BMW. What difference does it make? Does it make any difference to you? It makes a huge difference to a 650. But I'll be interested to, and the 1 Series as well. I want to know the other models. Does it make a difference with much newer models? I mean, this one's 13 years old and so on. So yeah, I want to know, does it make any difference? How much difference does it make to you? Is it more fun? Because it is so much more fun for me. Anyway, put the thumbs up if you enjoyed that. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.